Hey there, my name's Faye, and welcome back to my first ever Nuzlocke adventure. Today's journey brings us to the Hoenn region with Pokemon Emerald. Gen 3 was basically where I spent a lot of my childhood, although I earned Sapphire and Leaf Green rather than Emerald. So this was my first experience of what is basically the definitive Hoenn experience. As for the Nuzlocke rules that will be mentioned a lot in this video, you can read them now on screen. With that said, I think I hear the delivery truck my mum forced me inside finally stopping, which means we've made it to Littleroot Town. I'd recently moved from far away to the quiet town of Littleroot, and by I mean my parents. My dad had gotten a job as a gym leader 2 routes over, and I'd had no choice in the matter, so the moment I could, I was going to get out of this boring place. Thankfully, I didn't have to wait long. One day I found the town's professor, Birch, being attacked by a Zigzagoon. The professor had brought 3 Pokemon, however they'd been dropped just out of his reach. So I took a Mudkip, and Zigzagoon was forced to run away. As thanks for his rescue, the professor allowed me to keep his Mudkip, which I named Mudslide. However, then he began talking about his encounter with the Zigzagoon. The experience had hurt the professor to the point that he was now, if I take him at his word at least, planning to eradicate every and all Zigzagoon he could from Hoenn itself. Like right in front of my eyes, he contacted his son Brendan, tasking the boy to wipe out all Zigzagoon from Route 203. I held my new Mudslide's Pokeball in my hand tightly, imagining what my new partner might think of this act of cruelty. Were Pokemon just a pest? Were they simply a creature at the mercy of us humans without the freedom to act by their own nature? And that's when it hit me. All my prior experiences, Kanto and Johto, I'd lived by so many Pokemon, I'd lost so many others. These memories, even though they weren't mine, rather memories from prior lives, I guess, were enough to tell me that this was wrong. I couldn't allow this. And so I sped out of Professor Birch's lab and straight up to 203. However, the boy wasn't hearing reason. He trusted his father more than anything, even to this extent. And so I sent my new Mudslide out to face him and immediately put Brendan in his place. He ran off to cry to his father, but I had more important plans. I needed to think of a way to stop Professor Birch entirely, and that's when my recollections of previous adventures aided me. The Pokemon League. Surely the gym leaders and those above had the power to help me. Surely my father would understand. And so I decided I would collect the badges across Hoenn for the sake of all the Zigzagoons. Okay, well, with that long-winded and totally story-accurate piece of writing out of the way, let's actually get this Nuzlocke started. Route 203 netted me a Zigzagoon, ironically, that I named Trashy. Don't worry, you'll be safe with me, little one. Then, immediately after, in Route 202, a Poochyena joined me with the name Mr. Pooch. It wasn't long until I came to Petalburg City, the location my dad worked as a gym leader, and I immediately showered him with my worries and concerns, recounting what had happened with Professor Birch. But I was instead told to head to Rustboro and tell gym leader Roxanne firsthand. Something to do with authority or lack thereof? I didn't really understand it. Also, some random kid came in and I watched him single-handedly catch the rarest spawn in Route 202. I want a bloody Rolls, man, come on! With that said, while I didn't understand why my dad couldn't help, I decided to trust him and make my way to Rustboro by heading through Route 204. I caught a tailor named Pearl after my real-life bird. Then, as I was coming to Petalburg Woods, Lady Cindy challenged me with her own Zigzagoon. Oh, wonderful! Another Zigzagoon owner!
Ours. What? Well, I mean, okay.
Everyone's an enemy. No one can be trusted. Entering Petalburg Woods, I caught a Wurmple named Wriggler, helped some man in a suit against the thug in blue, and soon I was entering Rustboro City. The gym was my primary goal. However, I decided to hop over to Route 116 and catch an Encarta first, which I named Pierce. Following that, a majority of my party evolved and I entered the Rock-type gym led by leader Roxanne. Just like with my dad, I brought up my worries and pleaded for some kind of help, to which Roxanne challenged me as a way to test my determination. I swept her away easily, her Rock-type stood no chance against my newly evolved Mudslide, and yet still she was hesitant. She encouraged me to head to Dewford and face the next gym leader Broly, so that quickly became my next goal. Upon leaving the gym, the same thug in blue was running with the same man in a suit crying in chase. I cornered the thug, which is where I found out about his group Team Aqua. Perhaps they could be of help in my plan. I let the thug go after forcing him to promise to tell his leader about me and my quarrels, and in turn happened to save an old man's wingle the thug had happened to take hostage. To my surprise, the old man was a sailor, and with his help I had my way to Duford Town. But before that, the man in a suit introduced me to the boss of Rossborough's Devon Corporation, at which I was given my own new Pokénav. They also forced a couple of errands on me since it appeared their workers weren't equipped enough to deal with the threat of Team Aqua, and no matter. I immediately left for Duford, but before facing off its gym, I detoured into Granite Cave, where I handed a letter to a man named Steven, a charming man who gave me a helpful TM before leaving. With that, it was time to try again, and so I came to Duford Town's fighting type gym. Its leader Broly was super aggressive, and like Roxanne, also challenged me upon hearing my pleas. However, he stood no chance against the flying and psychic type power my Pearl and Wriggler offered. Broly understood my concerns, however, he bluntly explained no gym leader would risk helping me. I questioned why, and his sole reason was in fear of the Pokemon League, and how they may retaliate. I tried pushing further, but he refused, so I stormed out of his gym and swore I'd make it to the Pokemon League and question them myself. Slateport was my next destination. My Pearl evolved into the beautiful Swellow, while I took down a group of trainers, claiming half a dozen soda pop as a reward. The last errand I had for the Devon Corporation was delivering some goods to Captain Sturm. I found him in Slateport's Oceanic Museum, only to be confronted by a couple of weak Team Aqua grunts that fell far too quickly. And then I came face to face with Archie himself, the leader behind Team Aqua. He wanted the goods for himself, but upon seeing me, he decided to let them go. I got the impression he was excited to help me out. And so after our quick meeting, he promised to look into things further than left. With my errand complete, I left Slateport, but it wasn't long until I ran into Brandon. I couldn't see any, but I knew plenty Zigzagoons had most likely fallen since our last meeting. They were most likely hiding, as I couldn't see any at the moment. So I put Brendan in his place and sent him running in hopes my efforts could save just a few. Moorville City was next, and to my surprise, the lucky bastard Wally, who had caught a Roltz in Petalburg, was here. He was showing it off all proud, so I had my Swellow fainted, resulting in the boy running home in tears. I wish I had a Roltz. Moorville City's electric-type gym was next, and upon coming face-to-face with Leader Watson, it became apparent the other gym leaders had been notified of my intentions.
Come on, Watson. Be your best shot. 1 damage. That's your best? Cool. That wasn't even a crit. That didn't kill it. And we're one. Oh yeah.
Needless to say, they stood no chance against Mudslide. What a good boy. I decided to head west to Verdanturf Town, where I helped a couple reunite in reward for HMO 4 strength. With that, I headed north of Moorville to Route 112, and then a little bit north of that into a cave, where a number named Lemon joined me. Some members in red were blocking access to the cable car, which was my only way to the next gym, and since they refused to move, I decided to eavesdrop, overhearing that their boss was just past Fellabor Town, the northernmost location in Holland. I made my way there, trudging through the ash-covered terrain, and once past Fellabor Town, and finally in its neighboring cave Media Falls, I immediately caught a Zubat named Bat Boy, but more importantly, found the members in red I was looking for. To my surprise, Archie and his group showed up and sent the Reds running, which was when Archie gave me a mission: take out Team Magma's Maxi, and if I do, then Team Aqua will help save the Zigzagoons. I immediately returned to Route 112, took the now available cable car to Mount Chimney, and confronted Team Magma's leader himself.
Okay, so Dragon Raid should be a 2-shot for every single one of these party members. So as long as I don't take too much damage, and as long as I don't miss, it should be fine. Cool. That's down. And move on. Easy. Honestly, Gyarados is just goated. I love Gyarados.
Oh my god, Dragon Rage is such a useful move. I've always loved it as it's kind of iconic to Gyarados specifically, but my recent adventures with Nuzlocke have shown me just how useful a lot of moves actually are, and in the early game, Dragon Rage was no exception. Team Magma was forced to leave, however so did Team Aqua, so I awaited my next encounter with Archie and continued south to Laveridge Town, home of the Fire-type gym, led by leader Flannery.
Cool. Wasn't even a crit. Nice. Level up. Attract. Really? Oh, we have to put up with this shit now. Hell yeah. Come on. Not as much as I thought it would do. Dead. I think so. Come on. Yes!
You know, even though confusion is capable of making you deal damage to yourself, I for some reason get a lot more scared when Attract is used. I don't know why. You literally just miss a turn, you don't deal damage to yourself, but yeah. Flannery was a cakewalk, and I was now halfway to the Pokemon League. Upon leaving Laveridge's gym, Brendan stopped me. The boy understood my actions, but couldn't find the courage to disobey his father. So instead, he gifted me a pair of goggles. Sweet. I put them on and ran into the nearby desert, climbing an odd tower and obtaining the root fossil, which, thanks to the Devon Corporation, was revived into my new lily named Rootling. I used my Pokéknife to double check which gym was next, and while the information it gave me should have had my blood go cold, I was filled with nothing but determination. Petalburg City's normal type gym, led by led by leader Norman. It parted its doors, and after a couple rough trainer fights, I faced my dad, who simply stared with an expression lack of emotion. We took out a Pokeball each, and the fight began. I gave him no mercy. I'd come into this fight expecting a tough fight, and so I was prepared to lose a couple of friends, which is sadly what happened to my now evolved Batboy and my new Sandslash named Shrew Jr. that I caught in the desert. Once leader Norman's final Pokemon, his infamous Slacking, was out, I countered it with my Camerupt, and thus my victory was sealed.
So it's gonna loaf around. I'm gonna dig. It's gonna attack, miss. And it's just gonna repeat. Oh no. Okay, we should be fine. We should be fine. Marshtomp can take this. We're done. That was insane.
My way to the next part of Hoenn brought me back to Morville City, and so I decided to enter an old power plant where I caught a Magnemite named One of Us, quick surf to Route 118, and soon an Electric named McTrike and a Tropius named A Tree had joined me as well. The terrain on this half of Hoenn was insane. The grass was overgrown, and the weather wild, but I managed to get through completely fine, thankfully. Route 119 was also home to the Weather Institute, and so I hopped in, hopeful for a rest. And while I got what I wanted, it also turned out the place had been infiltrated by Team Aqua. At first I thought I was in luck. I could talk more to Archie. However, he wasn't here. Instead, his second in command, Aqua Admin Shelley, was managing this group, and she quickly showed herself to be against my ideals.
Nice, I take some damage for that, but that's fine. And use a Thunderbolt. Do a lot of damage. Hell yeah.
I think she likes me less after that. I left the Weather Institute feeling refreshed. The 6th gym was right around the corner and I felt optimistic with my team. Then I got an unsettling feeling. I continued walking, being cautious of what was around me, and soon enough, Brendan was behind me. The fear on his face was clear, and he was quick to admit that his dad had tasked him to convince me to stop. We both knew where this was going, though. I think Brendan had been skeptical about how much this mission meant to me, but now he could finally see it. Head slumped, he left my sight, and I had the feeling he wouldn't bother me again. The 6th gym, located in Four Tree City, focused around flying types. So far the gyms had gone by decently, my strategies had worked out, but little did I know my skills were going to be put to the test very quickly.
Starting off with the Swablu. Faster, thank you. Awesome. Wasn't even critical hit, so I'm optimistic. Oh shit, I'm not. Oh wow, I survived that. It's paralyzed. Yeah, I'm gonna have to switch. We're gonna use Earthquake again. Yep. Nope. Shit out of this. Oh. Oh, thank you. That actually helps a lot. I need Lemon for the last Pokemon, which is Skarmory. Oh boy. Oh, I'm gonna have to risk this. Don't kill me. Thank you. What? That's insane, bro. Fucking die. That was an insane gym battle. What the hell?
Holy shit, that fight was insane. I'm so happy I managed to get out without even a single death. Wow. I took a trip south down Route 120, forcing my way through some very tall grass while the unbelievably poor weather drenched me, but soon the sun came back to dry me off slowly. Entering Route 121, I overheard some Team Aqua grunts heading to Mount Pyre, and so I followed in hopes Archie was with them this time. My assumptions were correct. He'd come here for something known as the Red Orb, and upon seeing me, all he said was he had a plan, and that I should be patient. Well, I wasn't gonna just sit around. I had to get to the Pokemon League, and that's when the elderly couple in charge of Mount Pyre told me Maxie of Team Magma had come for the Blue Orb just earlier. What he planned to do was beyond me, but to make sure he made no trouble for Archie, I ventured back to Mount Chimney where I'd faced Maxie last. After scrounging around, I was in luck as Team Magma's hideout showed itself. The members inside were nothing to my team. Even Maxie himself hadn't learned much since last time. To my shock, however, Team Magma had somehow managed to bring forth a colossal beast within the volcano they called a hideout. The beast didn't stay long though, and was soon gone with Maxie attempting to follow it desperately. What on earth was going on? What was that thing? My questions only grew, however, as I came to Slateport due to some information Maxie had given me after my victory. As he claimed, Team Aqua was here, attempting to steal a submarine from Captain Stern, in hopes to bring forth their own beast. I rushed into the harbour to find Archie and Grunt already having commandeered the submarine, and with a wink towards me, Archie claimed to be heading towards Lilycove before taking the submarine for good. Had Archie been misleading me? Filled with a bit of anger, I followed to Lilycove, which rested just east of Mount Pyre. To the city's east rested a lonesome cave, which I soon found to have been fashioned as Team Aqua's hideout. I made my way through until finally finding the submarine, but before I could get on board, I was stopped by Aqua admin Matt. He proved a little issue, however it was enough to allow Archie to flee, and so I was stumped. Hoenn's eastern region was nothing but water, one could say too much water, so finding a little submarine among such an environment felt impossible. With no alternative, I stuck to my original goal, moving east to Moss Deep City, where the Psychic-type gym led by leaders Tate and Lisa were located. The Claydol stood no chance against the constant Surf's mudsliding Gil threw at it. Solrock then came out, immediately charging a solar beam, but a direct hit from Hydro Pump managed to wipe it out. Lunatone took the spot of its partner, but it too was swiftly ended with another Hydro Pump, now leaving Xatu, who had been out since the start all by itself. It didn't like what I had done to its friends and almost killed Mudslide in response, but a quick switch to one of us and a tag team between them and Lemon was enough to get me my 7th gym badge without any casualties. Hell yeah. It appeared Team Magma had been busy while I was getting my new badge. They were attempting to take control of Moss Deep Space Center. The legend Steven was bravely facing off against both Maxie and Tabitha, and so I quickly joined the fight, making it a 2-on-2.
I find it really funny though that Earthquake affects your partner but Surf doesn't. Nice. And last camera. Down. Which should go down after this. That's Team Magma done. Again. I'm not gonna lie, I would have been better off doing that myself, Steven.
With that thread ended, I swam out, discovering Sutopolis City, which was only accessible via diving underwater for some reason. Thank you, Steven, for HM08 Dive. And with that, I also managed to find the disposed of submarine, which marked where Team Aqua had fled to. Getting past the grunts was child's play mostly. The worst part was the puzzle with the water currents. But once through that, as well as a double battle and a strength puzzle, it was time to teach old man Archie what you get for double-crossing me.
Archie time. Ooh. Used the super potion that early? Oh. Sharpedo. Whatever to his camera up actually. He has changed his body. I'm actually gonna switch out to one of us. Cool. Here we go.
After the easy fight, Archie explained his goal was to control the legendary Pokemon Kyogre and scare Professor Birch forever. Yet, the dumbass chose the red orb for the blue legendary, and now the region of Hoenn is stuck in a permanent storm. I seek the help of people who I thought were capable, and now I'm forced to fix their stupid mistakes. Ugh. At Sutopolis, it seemed Kyogre was busy fighting Groudon, the beast I'd found inside the Magma hideout. While they did their own thing, I got some advice from Steven and a man named Wallace, leading me to Sky Pillar. What was so important about this place, you ask? Well, Kyogre and Groudon's mother lived here, so after visiting and updating her on the childish fight going on in Sutopolis, she swiftly came in to tell them off. Kyogre sinks into the water as expected, and Groudon... Wait, where did Groudon go? Did it drown? Did it just jump out of Sutopolis? There's water everywhere, where did it go? What the hell? With the issues of Team Magma and Aqua out of the way, it was clear I couldn't trust anyone but myself with my mission. And so at Sutopolis, I stepped into the final gym, where water-type Pokemon ran supreme.
Thunderbolt should take it out. Oh, that's not a good sign. Shut the f up. Really? Don't crit, please. Thank you. Celio. He's Trike. It's faster, thank god. If anyone's gonna get sacrificed here, it's McTrike. It's faster, so we'll be able to get a hit off. And I don't really like... I love Manectric, but I feel like Magneton's just stronger. Maybe I'm wrong? Actually, let me check. Oh my fucking god. Manectric is so fucking better. I take that back. I take that back. Okay. Here it is. The Kingdra that ruined my last attempt. If this can get a paralysis off, that would be so good. Nope. Yeah, because last time it just kept on using double team. Okay, good. Paralysis. Be paralyzed. Thank you. We won! We did it! We did it! No losses! What?
This demonstrated the monkey's need for comfort and security.
What? Gemini thought I was talking to it. It thought I said paralysis keeps the hollow, and it started saying the hollow experiments infant monkeys were paralyzed with fear when placed in a new environment without their surrogate cloth mothers. Okay. Yeah. We won.
This fight showed me just how strong my team was, but more importantly, the potential of McTrike. I'd always loved Manectric as a Pokemon, but goddamn, it's powerful when it wants to be. With the 8th and final badge, I had everything I needed to reach the Pokemon League. I could feel it. Victory was looming over me. I sailed far east past trainers and Pokemon throughout the sea, until finally I came to Evergrande City, Victory Road. Once here, I took my time setting out a team built specifically for taking out the Elite Four, and using Lilycove City's department store for some TM variety, I felt confident my party could make it through any hurdle that came our way. Then I entered Victory Road. It was a bit tedious. I originally tried doing it without using Flash, so I didn't need to teach any of my Pokemon the HM, but then a tree died to a Golbat, so McTrike soon forgot Quick Attack, and almost as fast I was finally out front of the Pokemon League. I bought some items in preparation for between battles, and with a deep breath and determination, I entered to face the Elite Four. Sydney was first with his dark types. I had no proper counter to this, however Gil easily took down his Mightyena and Absol with serves. I switched to Pearl to take down Sydney's Shiftry and Cacturne, and lastly McTrike struck Crawdaunt down, winning us our first of 5 battles. Next was Phoebe. Her Dusclops and Banette fell to Mudslide Surfs, while her Sableye crumbled from an earthquake. Her second Banette almost killed Gil, but a quick switch to Lemon allowed me to burn it down. Then lastly, Goofball sent her final Dusclops into a long sleep with an Aurora Beam. 2 down, 3 to go. Glacier challenged me next, but she stood no chance as McTrike fried both her Celios, Lemon and Gil took down both her Glalie, and Mudslide buried her Walrein. Somehow, even though I was making some very risky decisions, I was making it further than I had in both my prior adventures. This could actually be it. Last was Drake and his fearsome dragon types, but thankfully I had Goofball and his ice type moves. But even with that preparation, I was bound to run out of luck at some point.
Cool. What type of Pokemon is Flygon again? Is it Pure Dragon? It's ground. Ice is 4 times. Okay. Okay. No! Please get a paralysis. Yes! Not sure if we're gonna win this. We might wipe here. But I'm gonna keep on going. Holy shit.
At the cost of Gil and Pearl, the Elite Four had fallen. They both fought very bravely, and because of their sacrifices, I'd made it basically to the end of my adventure. Only one hurdle was left, and so I walked in to confront it. Wallace, the champion, the man who had seen my efforts in Sutopolis personally. He understood what I was fighting for. However, he had every intention to fight me with full force. And so the battle begun.
He's Whale Lord. He's really slow. And it just died to a crit. Nice. Freedom. Fuck! Oh no. No! Get paralyzed. Nope. Nope, sadly. Oh, that sucks.
I had gotten so far. My team had overcome so many obstacles, but it appeared fate wasn't letting me obtain the title I so desperately wanted. Nonetheless, this was the furthest I'd ever gotten. I'd actually reached the champion. So with that, Pokemon Emerald was for now finished. And while I will return in the future to properly claim my victory, it was time to move on to Platinum. If you want to see how that goes, click that subscribe button so you get notified when the video drops in a couple of weeks. With that said, I hope you all enjoyed and thanks for watching.